split push, which won them both their games. On Illinois' side, it was they fell behind in the lane phase, but it was the team fighting that made the difference. So I want to see, because if you just kind of combine their performances from before, you would assume Columbia get ahead, and then Illinois won the team fight. But then it's how Columbia navigates the split push around that. So if they want to shut that down, they may be banning out multiple split pushers here. But Stumpy, I mean, he's played the Yasuo, the Fiora, and I assume he's got way more up his sleeve too.
Also, I feel like Illinois might want to remedy a bit of that early game pressure that Columbia puts on. Some of the fastest games come from this team this tournament, and they are quick, sub 30 minutes in most of their games. And Illinois is going to have to make quick work of, like you said, that laning phase where Columbia can come out very strong. And they are taking away Morganas on the side of Columbia, Kai'Sa and Taliyah, with the Aurelia, Graves, and Varus here. So definitely lane priority. Illinois is wanting to grab there, taking out the aggression from Columbia.
Yeah, and the Rakan first pick here is something that hasn't really made it too much through picks and bans, and when it did, it was kind of just on the wayside in favor of different supports and different combos.
Ooh.
But that means the Xayah Rakan can come through for Evan RL Dean, who Evan RL played a very consistent match 2 days ago, but it was more on having the rest of the game, rest of the lanes carry. So I want to see if they get the Xayah Rakan combo and if they're more aggressive with it.
A lot of Skarner coming in. Kind of seems like that for sure initiation. If you can catch somebody off and get one pick out, make sure the fight doesn't go long with a Braum and a Trundle. You don't want to stay in the ring too long with those guys. Ezreal does get locked in by Julian for Evan RL. Keep things safe and farmed in the bot lane, but doesn't necessarily say aggressive. So this is good for Korean Danny and Noob if they want to try and get ahead, and there's a pick that can help it happen.
Yeah, having Korean Danny on that Caitlyn had some good performances as well. It was a big carry for them alongside Xeno in their matchup previously, where they upset the #1 seed. But remember, Korean Danny was up against Prototype from Maryville, somebody who was pretty much having strong laning phases consistently. It was just the team fighting where Korean Danny and Xeno did a lot of the cleaning up. So the Caitlyn will give him a little bit more lane priority, like you were talking about, what they need. But up against the Rakan, and not combined with the Xayah, combined with the Ezreal here, I do want to see how this goes, because the Caitlyn should have some priority here, should have the push advantage. And it comes down to the Ezreal landing a lot of those skill shots.
Oh, the Galio and then the Yasuo getting taken away from Stumpy. They say, we do not want to see that again. He was getting triple kills around the map with that pick in the top lane. Ryze taken away from Xeno. That Taliyah's already off the map. We saw how much damage he was able to do with it. And Ornn gets away from Topopotamus on that one. I feel like that's a good last ban for Columbia with how well Topopotamus can start these fights and make things happen on his own terms with that champion.
Yeah, because we saw that the Ornn was what the Yasuo was played into, and you could win wall it. So if you have the Braum already, and then you ban Yasuo, there's nothing left in the game really that gets rid of the Ornn ultimate unless you can stop him from headbutting it. But to actually just dissolve it, there's nothing left, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's a good ban there from Columbia to kind of see that coming. The Swain
Pain.
Swain's actually still rather good. It's funny because he was really powerful for a while, where he was kind of like first picked, but then it got to a point where people said, okay, I think there's a lot more in the meta that you can potentially play. And then there's like first pick priority like Kai'Sa, and we're seeing Aurelia in that same category. So Swain is kind of like, he used to be the cool kid on the block, and now he's just like the secondary or the third cool kid. So he's way down that tier list.
You still invite him over, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Last pickup here, it is going to be a mid laner, I believe we see coming in for Illinois. Already have that support. Swain to the top, possibly. No, it's going to be the top lane. They decide to swap it up. And actually seeing the Cho'Gath, should have figured that was going to happen. Another tank to the top and Swain to the mid. And we have our teams for both sides. 50 seconds on the timer here. Patch 8.9. Remember, as we head back onto the Rift for the Collegiate Championship. See, Cassiopeia was locked in. Haven't mentioned much about that yet, but Julian can keep himself nice and sustained in lane and just keep Xeno from roaming around. These two will probably have a pretty fun lane, but maybe quiet to start things off.
Yeah, I do want to see what happens in the mid game here, because these two teams are built for team fighting. The Trundle will shred through the Cho'Gath and lower his resistances, and that'll allow them to have a really good combo too, because also, look at the mid lane. It's the Cassiopeia versus the Swain plus Trundle. That interaction where you Trundle pillar and then Swain can passive off the Trundle pillar and yank you back actually makes it a very effective combo. So Julian is going to have to watch himself here in this mid lane, but it's not Stumpy as well in the top lane. On one of those carries, he's on the Cho'Gath.
Right.
So I expect a kind of banner battle in the top lane that the Cho'Gath will win, but it's not that same high mechanics top laner from Stumpy this time.
So looking at these compositions, starting kind of with Columbia, we talk about their very quick average game time. Is this a team that can still make that mark and make a quick average game time?
Well, once they have a lead, they seem to know what to do with it. I don't think it's going to be via the split push this time. I think it's going to be via team fights. But also something that's interesting here is there are a lot of globals in this game right now. It's something that I saw over in the CB LOL, which was playing just a moment ago and still playing, but 80 carries. Both of them have teleport, and this was something that only really Ezreal was taking. Then it spread to Varus, and now we're seeing a Caitlyn with it too.
Teleport traps. Flavor of the month.
Ooh, actually, Korean Danny, I think he went really defensive here. The Doran shield in this matchup, instead of going for the Doran's blade, kind of just signals to me that he's kind of seeding what could have been a very pressure-oriented lane for himself, instead playing it safe.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Very safe. Potentially too safe, but we'll see. If it works out for him and he starts getting a large lead here, but look at this. Maokai in the bottom lane. Ezreal hanging out in the Tribrush. But looking for a... They were looking for a cheeky gank there.
Quick hit. There's a lot of crowd control between those two. They could easily blow your flash and make that lane even more easier for a Doran shield pickup. Caitlyn. But not the case so far. Minions out on the Rift. Mountain Drake will be the first thing up. So we actually, as we heard the analyst desk talking, would there be priority over it? Maybe we get the over-under on 7.5? Well, the first one's probably going to get a little bit of attention here pretty early in the game. Nice grab up. Evan RL hitting a Mystic shot and getting a little treat for himself and a potion.
Yeah, the great Ezreal players. That's the difference, is if you can Q and get a red potion level 1, you're definitely one of the best Ezreal players. It's that and the bag of gold. Those are the two.
Oh, man. I like this better because you can't even go spend the bag of gold yet.
That's true.
This is gold on the Rift. You get to chug it down.
Yeah, it's 10. It's
And
11. Sorry,
more.
it's 11 AD at level 1, which is a huge difference. So if he pops it and starts going aggressive, it can actually make an enormous amount of difference in that lane if they go for an all-in.
Just a bunch of Qs back and forth. I think everybody has Q level 1 in this lane right now. Oh, great. Attack, damage, and hits. Almost gets the concussive blows to hit, but Noob does not follow forward. So starting things off, Korean Danny feeling good about that damage as they just go back to farming. No one trying to kind of step too far forward here as we start things off on the day. Kind of shaking off the cobwebs, get going.
Yeah. Down bottom, it looked like level 2 came out about the same time. Of course, the Relic Shield lane typically get it a little bit sooner, just so you can pop a minion, get rid of all that HP. Evan RL and Dean. I think this lane is actually slightly pushing for them, so Korean Danny, they could freeze if they wanted to, or play defensively. But I think they are actually in a good spot. I think what Caitlyn wants to do is just kind of bait them in, but hold on, here's the combo maybe. Pillar, boom.
There's the grab back. Julian not looking too good on this. He actually can put the damage onto Zeno, but he wants to get on the other side. His minions give him a good wall of protection there that would have damaged Project 1. But now the flash on mid lane. Great pressure coming in from Illinois.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, the pillar into the yank there from Zeno. Didn't actually land, I believe, the pull on the way back from the Swain, so didn't get the enormous lockdown on Julian. He kind of got to hold on to his flash for a little bit longer. But that is the flash still down. I mean, repeat ganks are still a very real thing, which makes it quite easy to land that E from the Swain afterwards.
Especially before Julian gets 6. Cassiopeia just slithering around. Very easy to take down with a pillar coming in from Project 1's Trundle. Playing the bottom side of the map where he has some vision now, so he can be safe, but also you kind of give the other team information of what's going on. Bucksax will re-enter, probably had top side before he goes for his Krugs as we get a little fight bot lane. Dean getting back for the defense, and nice job for the continuation on that. There's only a few minions they have to walk through, and continued damage from Korean Danny. Lane priority here to Illinois.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job here. The Qs landing from Noob, and then just the combo they had the lane kind of pushing towards them, which is where you want it to be as the Caitlyn, because you're going to be able to win a lot of these range trades. You force Ezreal to walk up, and then he just eats a boatload of damage. As you can see, Evan RL with the teleport, able to get back to lane and get that tier very early on. And not miss out on ACS either. So
I was just going to say that. Should be able to nicely pick these up. Dean can grab a few for himself and get towards his upgrade for his quest. Becomes difficult if you're getting pushed back in lane, so it's always good to be able to get back and get those certain amounts of gold so you can get vision on the map. Columbia College uses that very quick to keep pushing forward. Keep Stumpy safe, but like we said, this is one of those team fight games, so we'll see if that vision game for them changes a bit. Bramble Smash, Topopotamus, very slow farming up here. I'm sure both of these guys want to actually fight, but you got to do what you got to do.
yeah, you got to do it for the team. I know Stumpy wanted to play more carries. We saw him earlier when we were getting into makeup, and he was saying, got to play the Yasuo.
I want to play Yasuo again.
He wants to play more. They threw 2 bans towards him, the Aurelia as well as the Yasuo. And then it was the red side for Illinois, so you had to kind of worry about counter picks and whatnot.
It's interesting to see if it'll happen the other way too, because Zeno has a pretty terrifying
Aurelia.
So once they get on blue side, that is also respected. Bit of a shared champion pool between different lanes isn't something you always see going through the different updates for the game. Tears trough, if you will, for Julian and Evan RL here as they stack up. Probably not going to try to put too much aggression on the map, knowing their power is lacking at this point. But the vision is being pushed forward here from Illinois. Much more pink ward vision down towards that dragon so they can keep control of this possible Mountain Drake.
And you have to worry about Julian a tiny bit. Without the flash, easy repeat gank for Project 1 as well as Zeno. And you also have to worry for the rest of your map, because if your mid laner is falling behind and being pressured in, then that means the rest of the map, because this guy has teleport, is at risk. And so if the Swain gets to roam, there's no way the Cassiopeia matches. So it puts your side lanes at risk. It's why mid lane is one of the most important roles and has always kind of been the one that was in charge of wave clear, because you're central to the map. You clear waves faster than the other person. They have to play League of Legends underneath their turret, and then you get to go to other lanes. That's why TP started getting picked up too in the mid lane a long time ago, is to try and match that and make it so you aren't just completely outplayed when you get pushed in.
Project 1, early dragon for himself. Tiamat on top of his machete to start things off as he gets Scuttle Vision as well. And that priority pickaxe bot lane, and you said for mid, dragon is theirs.
Yeah, it's funny because I want to talk about the Tiamat a little bit, because this was something that Trundle didn't do in North America. And I was talking with, I believe it was Spawn about this over at MSI, and he was like, yeah, I thought Korea does it too. It's like, you looked at the games, nope, nobody really does it. And then the LPL came in with it. They spent money on Tiamat, and then everybody goes, oh wait, Tiamat's actually really good on Trundle. And it just actually kind of changed how people built Trundle so that they could farm up their Raptors faster and actually just keep up with power farming junglers like Olaf and Starner. So I like the adaptation here, and you can see he's actually at that really good CS point right now. 46 to the 39 in the jungle for the Trundle. So he's off to a great start here, and he's already secured the Mountain Break, which will help Illinois a lot when they get to the mid-game. And like I said, I think this is a game that's going to be decided by mid-game, because Columbia College, I don't think they have dominate lane champions, and both teams are built for team fighting.
Well, we already got an Infernal next, so somebody's going to be fighting for it. I'd like to see that. A lot of these Drakes are going to take priority on the game. 8 minutes on the clock right now with just that 400 gold lead in favor of Columbia College as they start things off around the map. Good pressure.
He's gonna have to actually. I don't think. Oh wait, he'll continue this recall because he has teleport. Ah, okay, never mind. He's gonna wait for more gold. Okay, I said you could potentially, just like the meta changed and now everybody has TP. Usually that would be just an awful back, but it's one that he could actually opt into if he really wanted to. But it's better to have the gold and then go back in. Looks like Zerker Greaves?
It almost becomes a gentleman's agreement at that point. Be like, well, and I have to because he's running TP, and he's gonna step away before he needs to heal, but he can get back. So if it doesn't matter if I have heal, I need to TP back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'll be like, all right, TP.
That's how top laner's been doing that for years.
Yeah, exactly.
You shove the wave, I shove the wave. And are you using TP? I don't know. Neither of us use TP. Just walk back to the lane. It's fine.
The little things are funny to kind of pick apart.
Good dewarding here so far from Columbia. There was a lot of control from Illinois on both the top and the bottom side.
Oh, yep. Something's fishy. A little too quiet.
Ooh.
Looking for the Vision of Empire. We cannot get it.
Yeah, that was a
Flash, though.
Yeah, that was a flash, and Project One threw down the Trundle pillar. So it looked like Buckzak immediately was flashing that so he doesn't get stuck, and also so he doesn't get pulled back by Xeno.
Looking to push the lane here and kind of get a little bit of breathing room. They have good vision around, so he knows he's not getting attacked. His flash is up. Julian's has now come back up. Nice grand entrance. Battle Dance back to draw a little bit of aggression and make Korean Danny feel the pain here. Relic back up with that HP as Noob gets in for that heal.
I like the ward control here from Illinois. Actually, a bit better than on Columbia College's side. And you can see both sides of mid are warded for the Swain, so he gets to play more aggressive if he wants to. He can actually just walk up, and I think it's really risky for the Cassiopeia for Julian to walk up without control.
Got him. Will they be able to get it, though? He's got a 6, and he's got shield. This is the one Braun can escape from, but so much crowd control locks him up. Teleports are going to be coming in, at least one from the mid lane, and that's Xeno doing what he can. They do pick up Dean very nicely to turn things around in the 1-for-1, but that gives Xeno a little bit more for mid lane. Can Julian retaliate, though?
Yeah, I actually think this is better for the side of Illinois, because sure, you got first blood, but it was split across 2 people who actually need the gold. The 400 gold went to Dean, and then the other 200 went to the Skarner and went to Evan RL. Whereas Korean Danny's actually ahead now because he got the full kill credit for himself. So definitely better to have it on the ADC than to have it on the support.
And he gets his Zerker Greaves, too, on top of that pickaxe. Good damage there. The pullback as well for Never Move. Turret damage going out huge on the Project One. They drop him. Buckzak on the map. Coast to coast was just bot lane. Now he's mid. And Xeno taking way too much damage. The grand entrance comes in, and this fight is going the long haul as they just keep getting a new challenger. Noob is there. Korean Danny teleports back in, but it's just too late for the party. And everybody disengages.
Yeah, Topopotamus looked like he wanted to TP in, cancels his TP, and so we're going to have another look at that bottom lane fight one more time. Buckzak went in, got the suppression, they get the charm, the knockup, then it's the stun from the Skarner E onto Noob, but a good counter there with his dying breath. He ends up getting the ultimate off, then they complete the stun onto Dean from the Braum Q, and so even in death, he was assisting there. Noob kind of making the best of a bad situation. But right here, that looks like Project One actually had turned away. You saw his model was just like off to the side there. So I'm surprised that actually stunned him, but it was just in that window where he was still turning. And then Xeno actually gets a great counter kill here onto Buckzak. Blows up, gets the Q at the end there. I think he actually, yeah, he got the kill credit before he died.
Always helps.
Definitely helped.
A lot going on in that mid lane. Ooh, it's not going to end. Huge damage onto Project One. Remember, he just came back up. One more Twin Fang, but they aren't able to connect. He is almost out of this fight. Stung back. Xeno's going to get locked up and taken down here as Illinois finds themselves falling left and right.
And there is so much damage coming out of Julian here. And remember, this Tiamat for the Trundle means he doesn't have that extra HP from the Cinderhulk early. He doesn't have any HP behind it. So he's just got the base stats of the Trundle. Now he has a Null Magic Mantle, but he just got shredded through by Julian. Watch this. Phase checks, lands the Q, gets him with 2 Twin Fangs, a third one in there, and with the Phase Rush, able to run forward. But then now it's Xeno's turn to be the one who just gets Twin Fang over and over again. Has so much damage from that Cassiopeia, and he only had 1 completed item.
Right, that last fight actually helped them kind of spike up there. So Project One wasn't really expecting all that Twin Fang damage to come through.
Yeah, Project One or Xeno, because Project One had pretty much abandoned ship immediately.
Merc Tread's quite quick for him. He has now put those in the middle of his build. This still helps. He's going to try for bot lane, though. He's going to walk over a ward on that. Seems like the team has alerted him. But yeah, still Infernal. If they put this much resource into the bot lane, they even have Topopotamus.
Well, Topopotamus has roamed down because he doesn't have TP. Stumpy has TP and can TP into this if he wants to. If they're going to contest it, that's the sign. There it is.
It is in. His ultimate is down, so he's not going to be able to do too much. That is another Dragon going over to Illinois as Julian is somewhat the focus. Battle Dance goes in. Julian goes down. That's a lot of the DPS that Columbia College will need for this fight, and you see what happens as soon as they lose it.
And that's Illinois winning another team fight there. They get the Infernal Drake, they get 2 kills, and despite being down in gold, they're still finding ways into this game. And this is very reminiscent of their game versus Maryville, where they're behind early, but it's the team fights that get baited out that they're able to excel.
Pulling the trigger. when they get the chance and making everything happen when they want it. Here, we'll see this one more time.
Yeah, watch, the TP is pretty late, but then Dragon goes down before TP even completes. But watch how Dean on the bottom side here tries to get onto Korean Danny. This Rakan goes multis, goes in, gets knocked up by the Braum. So he doesn't get to touch Korean Danny, who gets to just throw out all of these headshots during the fight. And he gets to pick up some kills himself. And that's going to put that Caitlyn in a fantastic spot with the IE completed.
It's quite rare that you're not able to cause chaos as you get in with the ultimate from Rakan. Feels like you're almost invincible sometimes through all the things you can get through and get out of. But
Yeah.
that time, they had his number.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
Noob in particular. He's
Yep,
had
the Glacial Fissure.
two really good Glacial Fissures this game that have stopped Dean in his tracks. That one there that got Dean killed and stopped him from actually going after Korean Danny. And then the one before where with his dying breath, Noob was saying, I'm taking you with me, Dean.
Banners are out. Banners are used. I think those ones are down already unless they went to a different lane. So far, they have really nothing to split. So they're probably just taking them out as they come.
Yeah.
Noob and Danny to the bot side here to try to protect the turret one last time.
Well, fun thing about the double banner in the top lane here is there's minion dematerializers on both sides.
Oh, it's true. They do have some left.
Yeah, so top
Glanced
Potamus
over that.
has 4. Stumpy hasn't used a single one. That's for late game, because the Cho'Gath can handle the Banner of Command by ulting it. It's not magic damage, it's true damage. So he's doing 1,000 damage to this thing, and that's why Cho'Gath wins pretty much all of the Banner of Command battles between other top laners. Because they don't really deal any damage to it, and he deals a boatload when he has the Beast.
Red team's turret has been
Evan Orel staying for one last shot. A very smart choice to back off by Korean Danny and Noob. Flash and Stinger are up for Buckzak, so that would have been a very quick pick. The thing that Columbia College is looking for over and over. They rotate back the lanes. Looks like vision will just be laid down in the river. No one having too much forward vision. We'll see what this next fight brings us here. They've kind of just been going all out in mid and bringing the fight to Zeno and Julian over and over.
Yeah, trying to bring that fight to Zeno and Julian, but really, the last time that they fought was when it got turned around by Julian. Julian was able to come out on top, got him back in the game, and again, they're gonna kick him.
That one to Zeno this time, maybe. One last Fang. He's not going to get taken out. Actually heals up through that nicely. Or I should say,
True shot, Brock.
alive nicely.
Oh.
And passing through quite a bit. Guardian shields and all. And Zeno's able to cut back to the left. So it sweeps over his shoulder. Murman is finished from Evan RL. But that was just the ignite and ult for Zeno's flash. So they may be able to go in for a rinse and repeat.
And 16 and a half minutes in, completed Muramana there, second tier on the way for Evan RL. This is actually pretty crazy. When you're looking at the team like Columbia College and saying, okay, they were winning through split pushing and now they have to win through team fighting, they're still winning through superior macro overall and farming an individual skill. And Illinois, they got back into their game because they were behind, but they still found the right team fights. But even after that last team fight, it looks like Columbia College are saying we are still playing correctly, and they're just going back to their macro strategy here. And that's something that I like to see from a team in a neutral game where Columbia College, if all things are even, how do they get ahead? They got those 2 turrets immediately after they lost the fight. They didn't let the pressure up and said that was a mistake, but they still have control of the game. And Illinois needs to find ways into the game that are, not, I wouldn't say creative, but I would say that have to be more than just what they've been doing with team fights.
More than waiting each time for the Drake. There's too much for Columbia College to gather each time they're saying, hey, there's something else we can corner them into, we can get a good fight and make sure Project One gets it and we get out. Doing that just allows Columbia College a little too much room each time, and we see as the map falls apart, those dragons may now fall in favor of Columbia College as well. The wards now falling. Pushing forward is Buckzak and Julian as wards encroach farther and farther into this side of the map. Question marks towards the top side. Looks like they were going to prioritize a little bit, but let's say blue first, and then we'll go party top lane.
And I think that the other worry here too
Maybe not. They say no party at all.
The other worry here for Illinois is the scaling. I just think the Cassiopeia scales better than the Swain. And I actually think that the Ezreal with the double tier build spikes in the mid game harder than the Caitlyn does. But the Caitlyn will eventually overpower the Ezreal. But at the 3 items, double Zeal and IE, I actually favor the Ezreal with the double tier items and the Trinity Force. I just think it's so much damage, it's so much in terms of defense, but then when the Caitlyn starts getting more AD behind her, I think that she's done. the superior one in the very late game. But
Yeah.
I don't know how these tanks in the front line are going to hold up against
Oh,
Casio. Oh,
no,
Julian.
that catch, but a great gaze as she fires back with the ultimate. Julian saves himself. Bucksack wants in, and they're able to get Noob, gets himself out quick with that CC crowd control tenacity, and now he gets himself dead. They lose Bucksack as well. Stumpy's getting turned on. If Dean can get into the fight, get that gleaming around, and very nicely done. Charms up 3 members. Korean Danny firing in from the side, though. Look at him, he is currently untouched, and he's been trying to hit the front line. Very, very tanky people so far. He's going to be able to take down Stumpy with one last chase, maybe? No, they're going to say,
wait.
we need to clear out these waves. We actually need to be very careful with Julian and Dean. And what a scattered fight to start things off. Julian wanted it, then they turned around, and I think with Bucksack's initiation, everything kind of went chaos.
Yeah, ended up being a 2 for 2 there, and like you said, it was the TP from Stumpy that I think turned it a bit there for Columbia College, where he was able to actually get that kill to start them off and turn it around. But now, once again, they immediately go back to macro play. And you can see Caitlyn, I think he's on the Mountain Drake. Yeah, Korean Danny's on Mountain Drake, but they're losing their top turret simultaneously. But double Mountain, that's huge for Illinois. Because if these Mountain Drakes went over to the Cassiopeia, you know the Cassiopeia is going to try to do Baron. You could 2-man it with double Mountain Drake Cassio. So now with all the outers down, Columbia College have control of the map from a pressure standpoint, and they can control the minion waves to shove them further, which allows them to do Baron and kind of make it so that those double mountains from Illinois may not be something that's actually a factor here. But Killer into pull, 3-man stun. You saw Project One turned around that time. Then the TP comes through, the flash pull from Bucksack, and then it's the silence into the Nom that gets Noob. And they traded Bucksack for that one. Both junglers go down, and Stumpy almost drops. But it's just the help of Dean, the backup, and then the root onto Evan. Oh, Evan looks like he went for the flash there, or like went for the E at the very end, but it still wasn't enough because he got pulled. Because the Swain EE is actually AoE. You think it's going to hit the first person, it actually hits multiple people when it explodes. And so the Ezreal got yanked back in, and that was the end of Evan, even though he's on that Ezreal, which is rather safe.
Mid laners stepping up to do the damage in these fights. You can see the bite from Stumpy coming through. Actually, I don't know if he actually bit anybody.
Yeah, he did. He got nuked.
You're right. He did.
But yeah, we talked about both the top laners, and we talked about both the mid laners. A lot of actions happen around that mid. Decent amount from these top laners. Julian, another gank.
Have his flash to get out of this one. Petrifying Gaze is back. 200 HP to Julian. A great shield as he gets the battle dance. Is he still alive? This is a fight that could be cleaned up, though. Dean low. One last hit. Wow. Coming in from Zeno. A little bit of shock and awe. Stinger comes in as they spend a little bit too much time on enemy lines. And it looks like Stumpy trying to get in. Oh, gets stopped right with a great pillar coming in from Project One to fizzle that one out. But this is a never-ending battle, back and forth. You have to be ready to go as soon as you hit that mid lane again.
Whoa.
See?
Forward.
Never-ending. Again, twisted forward from Topopotamus. Throws back to Nature's Grasp for a big hug, but Evan RL has space to work. Stumpy might be strong enough for the team to help. And Bucksack is heading around saying, we may not want this full fight. There's too much coming back. And Caitlyn has too much distance for me to get in without flash. So they pause once more. I think we get a chance to breathe. But look at the vision that Illinois has been able to put down through this area. It is cleanup time as we rewatch the replays.
Yeah. Zeno walks forward. They find Julian in the brush. Gets the E, but still, the stun again. Julian's been getting 2-3 people almost every time the ulti's here. Gets taken out still, but Dean went to go help. Delay it, and it cost him his life, but they do get the counter kill onto Zeno, who had to overextend to get that kill.
No.
Yeah.
You coming back here.
We talked about like the mid laners. There's a lot of fighting between these two mid laners, between Zeno and Julian, but it's also these AD carries. I think that Korean Danny doing a fantastic job this game. He's in a position to kind of take over with this Caitlyn. Looking at his build now, he actually kind of deviated him. He's going for, I believe, a QSS third item, which is actually going to make him pretty weak in the face of the Ezreal, which it has that second tier halfway stacked up. So I'm looking at about a 26, 27 minute triple item Ezreal is what I would expect. But it's going to be much longer for the Caitlyn to get to that second Zeal item.
Question was, could Zeno put up the same plays as well as Julian? Could he stand up against that? It seems like it's coming down to it. They hit Xeno with a few bans in mid lane. Back to the Swain, still being able to put out a few roams and pressure for the team. Korean Danny to 3-0-4. Almost able to put out that damage, but also eyes on his counterpart, Evan RL. A lot of damage as you say that last item coming through for Ezreal. If they can keep him protected, as well as Julian hitting these ults, they have a lot of damage to continuously throw in these fights.
Yeah. And there's the QSS coming through from Korean Danny, Noob, and Xeno. It's all about
My word.
making sure the Skarner tax is paid. The QSSs are there.
It's true.
That when Bucksack flashes and ulties, he's going to have to go after Project One or Top Potamus, which, hilariously enough, are actually his most likely targets, because they're the two melees that want to be on the front line. The Braum still, he does want to be on the front line as well, but these other ones are kind of bigger ticket ones that can't get away once they're in. You pull the Trundle in, he's in. You pull the Braum in, he might be able to get out.
Yeah.
Put him in a position where he's already blocking, etc. But still, it's like the two most likely in terms of like priority. You're probably pulling the front line in.
You always feel bad as Braum when you're using your shield to kind of protect yourself. You're like, oh, it's only for me. Oh my word. Well, they get the cleanse out there first. As we said, the shield is for the team though. He can stay there and a little too far for Dean as his grand entrance is shut down. They can no longer battle dance the fight on Xeno. He goes down quick. Great shots from Evan RL and Julian. That was the focus right onto the middle DPS. Topopotamus falls next. Korean Danny's on the back line, but he is shooting steel walls at this point. Stumpy's hardly taking damage as well as Bucksack. And Evan RL and Julian are making quick work of health bars.
Yep, and I think they have the Cassiopeia and they have the Ezreal. It's time to get that Baron. Columbia College, they're going kind of for the jugular here, saying it's time to get that Baron. They're the ones that don't have the mountain breaks.
Columbia College has those fast game times. This is what kind of escalates from that.
Shows it
5-minute Baron. Yeah.
wasn't just a fluke that they had fast games. They know macro. And this right here, I thought it was going to be a very clean fight for Illinois. They don't have the Swain there, but the pull, the QSS, but watch Dean goes in, doesn't quite get Korean Danny again, and he just gets popped. And so they continue fighting here. Noob doesn't really hit anybody with it. Drops, and they pull in Julian, but he still gets the ultimate off. And everybody is just pounding damage, and Julian is untouched because he got that great ultimate off. And then Evan RL is just slinging damage that whole time on top of it. Woo. Now he's at that 3-item spike. Yeah, those two big damage dealers did so much in there. Julian's positioning, that's what makes you one of the top challenger players.
Yep.
The Sky hit rank 1. That's not something that you do from, just duoing or, having your role be strong.
Yeah.
He's got really good positioning there. I saw it on the side where he knew his limits, where he was pushing himself and saying, I can be here with no frontline in front of me, off on the left side of mid, pumping out the damage, and that's what makes the difference there.
It's good for him, and it's terrible for the opponent, too, because they have to put themselves in an incredibly dangerous position just to even think about attacking him.
Exactly. And
It really works on both ends.
And it's incredible because he's doing that, and it means that he doesn't really necessarily need like the best team behind him, right? A lot of people are like, I can position forward when my front line is there, but he's seeing those opportunities, and that's almost like that solo queue mentality, right? If my positioning is good relative to my team and they're blocking for me, we can win this game. But if you could find those things without the team, then that's what's going to carry you in those games and make it so you don't rely on just having good teammates. So I'm seeing that from Julian here, seeing the maximization of his DPS on this Cassio and knowing how to play forward.
Whew. It hurts when you feel like your poke is almost healing the enemy champions. There's some good damage onto Julian. That's what they want to see. The redemption comes out, though, from Dean. They stay safe for now. Bucksack's going to spread a little thin here. Almost gets himself caught. That was an interesting escape. But they have control of the jungle. It seems like they're trying to kind of reel in University of Illinois here to see if they'll make a mistake. But they're staying safe inside the base.
Yeah, remember they used to break the base open by baiting Baron and having split push simultaneously for Columbia College. Right here, that's going to be the side wave clear for Evan RL, killing the caster minions on the top side of the map, which is not going to actually be a full push to the turret, just a little bit closer. And they're kind of going for 2-3 lanes pushing. And it's a rotation down bottom. So Stumpy back on split push duty right now. Will threaten the mid turret as well as the rotation. And that's some good damage. Top Potamus is taking a lot here. It's the Ezreal with 3 items.
Evan RL taking a little bit more than he would have liked for a second. Good hit onto Julian, no chase there. They know they have a petrifying gaze looking right at him if they try to chase. And they'll back off. Summoners are looking at Stumpy's flash, Bucksack's flash down, and everything except for Project One's flash up on the side of University of Illinois. So a lot of possibilities for plays here from the damage dealers and tanks on the side of Illinois.
Man, that is a low cooldown on that True Shot Barrage. It's not even level 16 version, but
It's going down.
Seconds.
It's going down.
And he keeps throwing out those Qs. Yeah, he's got the 20%, or sorry, the 40% CDR from the 20 from Trinity, the 10 from Seraph's Embrace, and then the 10 from the Ionian Boost of Lucidity. So he's already at 40% with those 3 items. Yeah, the macro game's just been on point here. Now they're at a 10,000 gold advantage, and they haven't lost a turret. Columbia College have all the outers and inners down, and they haven't lost any of theirs. They just have to give up 3 Mountain Drakes and an Infernal, which is how Illinois can get back in the game. But the Mountain Drakes have actually done nothing for them, except help them take more Mountain Drakes. That's it. Because they haven't been able to get to these turrets. When they get to them, they will shred them. But up until this point, the number 1 and the number 2 Mountain Drakes have done nothing for them, because they haven't got even really scratched these turrets.
But that influx of gold is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
if they can get it.
If they can win a team fight, then that means they can shred the Baron in a few seconds. They
That's
can
true.
get these turrets down. Like, when you have triple Mountain, your push becomes you can end the game by running it down mid with the team.
Don't promote that, Cyrene. 56.5 to 46.8. 10,000 gold here for Columbia College. And they don't have any of those Drakes. Actually, something that Maryville was able to get quite a bit against them as well as they went through that. I'm sorry, that was versus Illinois. So as I mix up my team names.
Yeah, but Illinois, like you said, they were able to get the Drakes pretty consistently,
Right.
even when they were behind against Maryville. And it happened again here. They like to focus that Drake down. They like to use the mid priority in their support and bottom lane, even if they're behind, to go ahead and group up and get the Drakes. It's a kind of a high priority on it.
Yep, seeks convergence for Dean. A little more extra damage and safety for his partners. Probably that Evan RL or Julian got that. Probably Evan RL. It'll be interesting to see if you switch it up to anywhere else. University of Illinois considering what could have kind of gone wrong in this game. Seeing a lot of pressure happen in the mid lane, maybe too many forced fights, which is credit to Julian and also credit to University of Illinois. They had fight engagements onto Julian that said, this guy should be dead. We should be able to get it. But he has been able to slip out of these fights, making them error engages for University of Illinois. And it's kind of hard to correct that when the other guy is just able to get out.
Oh, the double flashes there. It was the flash and the flash simultaneously from both junglers, because Bucksack, he knows that Project doesn't have a QSS. He's the prime target as the Trundle.
One kill at this point. You're good to go. That'll be down to the Nexus. Project One does not want to be that factor at this point. Bucksack knows he can just pretty much stand in his face, take his Raptors, start denying those resources. Falling farther behind at this point only is going to hurt so much more. They need to get that one big fight and open up the turrets. I'm surprised that University of Illinois is kind of able to defend outside of their base at this point.
Yeah.
At bay. But also, I think Columbia College is happy to have them squeezed out a little bit, so that fight is easier in their sense.
Yeah, it's where the split pushing is. You don't really have a good split pusher on either team, so they're kind of sending Cassiopeia, they're sending Julian to the top side with no teleport, which means that you spread the map thin, and now they have both of them in the bottom side here, banners of command. About to come back up for Stumpy, but I actually think Stumpy either keeps pushing and uses it. Yeah, he uses it there. Or he saves it for when he has Baron, which he may have in just a few seconds here. Remember, the Cho'Gath will help you secure the Baron. It's like 3 Mountain Drakes be damned. Wait, Bucksack grabs him.
Project One is back. Glacial Fisher goes across the team. Julian stays alive. And oh, the Q misses, but Zeno still gets the auto attack in. Dean needs to keep Evan RL alive, but also himself as he goes out to the left. Zeno just misses as the Mystic shots are being flung in. Kills on the side coming through as Project One falls. Topopotamus 3v1 situation. Force an even bigger crowd as Stumpy re-enters the fight. Topopotamus passive heal almost grabs Dean as he goes down. And Columbia College get the fight they've been looking for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, they've been trying to get something. Now they have a mini wave on the top side. The mini wave on the bottom side is also going to push. So they will break the base here. And there's 30 seconds on Zeno, 22 on Korean Danny. So it's probably an inhibitor on top of this.
Noob, what can you do? Playing as much defense as he can. There's a big Bromwood here. Hopefully making sure it doesn't go to the Nexus turrets. Probably won't be a repeat towards the bot side. Timers are coming up, but they do have minion waves pushed up, which means Columbia College has a lot of time to reset prepare and get themselves up to that Baron. Maybe not a lot of time. Things are coming through. We see Illinois is moving up towards the top.
Moving towards the top to clear out that minion wave. You can see Trundle's even just running past it.
Oh, there's...
Like, I gotta get there. Project One, I don't think there's a blast cone. I don't think he has flash either. So actually getting in to steal it, he's gonna have to walk around and go a long way.
No, he says no.
Yep. And even then, it's a Cho'Gath.
Yeah, so true. So sometimes it gets so intense in that moment, and you're like, I might be able to, and you remember the
So-
after fact.
Right here, Columbia College, Julian, he gets a really good stun off, but it's the QSSs from both. They pump damage into him. And right there, Dean gets stopped again. Dean looks like he's going to go right on the back line. And again, Nuke gets it with the ultimate. I don't think I've seen a Rakan engage stopped so many times in a single game. And Dean, they're still winning these fights, though, off the back of the damage because they have two really big damage sources with that Ezreal that just has so many items now. He's at 5. Now he's at the completed build. Boom. And then Julian, who dropped off fairly early, but he still did a decent amount. You can see. That's where he steps up. Evan RL in that fight. The Ezreal. Yeah, that guy, he does a lot of damage.
That's going to be on Illinois' side soon. This graph is going to break.
I would actually be great if the graph could go over and like into the enemy's territory. But yeah, he just does so much damage. He's at 6 items now, and there's still kind of a half and half item for Korean Danny. USS and the last.
Whoa!
Be caught though.
Stumpy very caught. It looks like he tried to get a little help from Julian there. Is that Petrifying Gaze? Yes, it is down. A very good bit of breathing room here as
But
Illinois may be able to move a bit.
I don't even know if they get breathing room because Columbia College gets to put pressure on the bottom turret. There's this gigantic minion wave on their Nexus turret.
Nexus turret.
And so Topopotamus, he has to back. He has to try and clear this wave. I think he might lose turret. He does lose turret while sieging. Boom. They're still losing them. They're still ceding these objectives. Or I guess losing these objectives in their face.
So watching Stumpy go down, my eyes were drawn to the bottom with all the chaos. And they were like, yeah, because we have man number 6 on the top side playing the Nexus turrets. They know exactly what they're doing, playing off the ball perfectly here. And that ball has been the minion wave on the top side, already to enter the base again. So that's going to give Illinois something to think about here as they are multitasking to keep this base alive in every single lane.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole house is on fire and you got to put it all out. You even saw TP was coming back right before this replay started. Stumpy walked up, doesn't have vision control, even through the gargoyle stone plate. It's like, I gotta try something. There's the Petrifying Gaze. That time it only stuns Topopotamus. Yep, it was a TP from Evan RL to actually get back out on the map. So he's just constantly trying to keep this pressure up, make sure that the team has the momentum because they've hit level 18s on both Evan RL and Stumpy and close for Julian, but still level 16 for Korean Danny, still 16 for Zeno. And Topopotamus just hit 17, so you don't get much stronger than this for Columbia College, especially for Evan RL. There's still 2 items to go for Julian, but Evan RL with that 413 CS, he is not going to get stronger at all from this point.
Absolutely gigantic right now. What does he have? 18,000 gold to himself. Korean Danny has 15,000 right now, so quite big pockets here for Evan RL.
Yeah, let's go for the triple inhib.
Turret.
Have the Baron and whoa.
Oh, straight back. Was that onto Julian? He gets himself to safety. Nature's Grasp back into the team, so they're locked in inside the base. I like the thought, but can they make it work? Zeno, huge hits coming in as he throws down the stopwatch. Evan RL trying to feed in the Mystic shots and still thread that damage through. Great defense from the front line. Topopotamus doing what he can with Danny and New behind him as a huge wall, and it looks like Evan RL can't get to the targets he needs to. This might be Danny's.
He's got to
turn him back and forth. No, he does go to the right. He finds it, and Columbia College come out on top after a very extended fight. They find the base of University of Illinois, and now they own it. The Nexus, the last thing in their eyes, is they take game 1 in our first best of 5 of the day.
And Columbia College, they're going to start the series off on the right foot.